Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of Equine Travels with Laura. If you've turned on this video cast, you're doing it because you've come to my blog, Dachshund Speckled Rock. I'm glad that you came back. This is the second episode, and what this series is all about is me just talking about whatever it is I feel like talking about pertaining to horses. And so today's episode is going to be on the bits that I've used. And so before I get to that, I wanted to remind everyone that the Kentucky Rolex 3-day event is coming up and that you should order your tickets and get them ready. This year's Kentucky 3-day event is going to have the reining again. Let's see, let me make sure I have this right. I didn't prepare, did I? That they are going to have the All-Tech Freestyle Ariat Kentucky Reining Cup at the same time. That they're really trying to promote the sport of reining and show how reining and dressage are very similar. And so that ought to be a lot of fun, that you can have a chance to see really world-class reining along with 3-day eventing, dressage, cross-country, and stadium jumping. The other thing about this year's Rolex is that it's leading into the 2012 Olympic Games. They're going to be held in London. And so it'll be a very special 3-day event because people are hoping to qualify for their teams. So I encourage you to look that up. Okay, now, what do I have to say about bits? Well, I know nothing about bits. I know very, very little. So my whole life I've been really happy entirely to use what I thought was the very best bit on earth, which was a D-ring jointed snaffle with copper rollers. And so if you take a look at this, you can see that these little pieces roll and they have copper on them, and that this was Violet's bit from the very beginning. This is the bit that I used at all times. And so it has this little break in the middle, and so it kind of has this action on their jaw. And so it can be pretty harsh if you have harsh hands, but it's a little bit giving, and he's got these rollers to help get her mouth, something to play with, and then the copper to get her mouth a little moist. So I thought this was the end-all and be-all. I thought this was it. So I was pretty disappointed when my trainer said that for Rennie's first bit, he should have a full cheek snaffle. That was the best way to go. And so Rennie got egg butt full cheek snaffle, and it also is a snaffle. A snaffle means a break. And so his is like this. And I'll show you with his bit, his bridle, that what you're supposed to do is, if you want it to be kind of working just as a snaffle, you would just have it in his bridle like this. But if you wanted it to have a little bit more leverage, you have these little leather keepers that hold onto this. And so every time you pull on the reins, these keepers pull too, and it has a little bit, stronger action to help the pony make turns and to help the turns be more correct and sharper and to have a stronger feel in your hands. And so this is what I used for Rennie. Then Rennie got sent away, and I secretly, again, because I'm so weird and really believe in the copper roller ones, I secretly bought Rennie his own D-ring jointed snaffle with copper rollers, hoping that his trainer at St. George would say that he could use this, but she never did. So here's what Rennie has in case he ever needs it. Okay, so there you go. So what happened was Violet, she took up dressage this summer. And so if I can find it here, dressage, she got her dressage saddle. She got a nice little Passier saddle from Sport Horse Saddlery up in Wixom. And that was beautiful. It fits me beautifully and it fits her beautifully. And then she got a Passier bridle that was on sale. It's called the Special Edition, and it's very, very nice. And so if you're going to be riding dressage, you have to be on a loose ring. And so what she got was, let's make sure I have this right, we got her a Herm Springer bit, and the Herm Springer is a Dynamic RS loose ring snaffle. And so again, it's a snaffle bit, but it's a little bit different from her jointed snaffle with copper rollers. First of all, it has these rings that just kind of, they don't, unlike the D rings, they're just loose. They just kind of loose and flow. And the reason for that is that what you want is that them to really give, so that when you pull on the reins and the horse pulls forward to get into the bit, they actually kind of play a little, so that your horse kind of feels softness right from the very beginning. The other thing about this bit is that it's entirely made out of Oregon, which is this German metal, and it's a kind of a metal that's purposely designed to help them get really wet and to kind of slobber and to foam up so that their mouth is nice and wet and happy. And then the other thing is that it has this little joiner. And so it's also, another thing that's special about it is that it's kind of ergonomically designed. So it has this thicker side, and then it's kind of really flows to the sides of her mouth. And so when you put it in her mouth, it's supposed to fit really carefully over the bars of her mouth and over her tongue and give her something to play with and just to feel like really plain old good. So I got this for her on a whim. We started to take dressage lessons from Janet Harms, who's the head dressage instructor at the University of Findlay, and we just wanted to have the right gear. So we felt like we needed to get this. And sure enough, Violet loved it. Right off the bat, she got it, that she really liked the wet feeling and the pull, and she liked the give, and she certainly liked the little bean in the middle rather than like this single joint. So we knew we had to make a change. And so her Christmas present this year for her hunter bridle was kind of like the D-ring snaffle version of that. And so in fact, what she's got now is this dynamic RS D-ring. And so she's got basically the D-ring snaffle, and instead of it being a single joint in the middle, now she's got that little bean or lozenge. And it's also ergonomically designed, so it kind of fits over the bars of the mouth and has a lot of play. And she really thinks this is the best, the bomb. She loves it. So I'm very, very happy that I got this for her. Okay. The bit you're not going to see for her is that Violet has a Pacific Carriage training cart. She knows how to pull a carriage. And so she's got that bridle too, but I didn't bother bringing that today. She's been busy being a riding horse, and so I was just showing you the riding bits. Okay, so Rennie went for training last fall, September and October, to an A-Circuit training farm, and they were playing with different bits for him, and they told me that what they wanted me to use for him was still a full cheek snaffle, but they wanted him to have not just a single joint, they wanted him to have a Dr. Bristol, and so I'm going to show you that. And they also wanted him to have a slow twist, which means that on these bars of the bit, they kind of twist. They offer more places to lay on the bars of the horse's mouth, the jaw, and then the tongue to give kind of just a little bit more feel and surface area rather than less surface area. And so this is what he has now. He's got this full cheek snaffle with a slow twist and a Dr. Bristol joiner. And the Dr. Bristol is kind of like this flat piece rather than a lozenge or a bean. And the flat piece kind of lays on their tongue in a perfect kind of way. So he's been really doing well with this. He loves it. And I was a little bit worried about it because it's a big step up for me. It may not be a step up for somebody who's an experienced rider, but you know, I have never really kind of had anything other than a nutcracker kind of joint. And the other thing is that I really wasn't too excited about this slow twist. If you can kind of see it up close, you can see that it really is sort of like a corkscrew, sort of. It's very disturbing to me. The positive things is that it's got a copper mouthpiece. And so if a good rider, a rider like Emily Kroll is riding him, Rennie starts just frothing and lathering and slobbering, and he gets his chest and his front legs all covered in white goop, and it's just drooling off of him like he's a little drunk. He's just happy as a clam. And so then I know that the bit is working really well. But the thing is now is that this is 4.5 inches, and Violet uses a 5-inch bit, and it's really clear to me that this is just getting a little tight for my little guy. And so what I'm hoping to do in the future is we're going to see whether a 5-inch bit, or I'm going to test whether a 5-inch bit will fit for him. And if it does, I'll just get him the 5-inch version of this. If it's a 4 3/4, we'll play around. We'll find the right bit for him. I want him to be happy and have the right size. But then the other thing is that I'm hoping to eventually have it so that he has a hunter bridle, just like Violet. He's got his little Bobby's leather hunter bridle, and Violet has a Steuben bridle for her hunter bridle, and then she's got a Passier one for her dressage one. I want Rennie to have a dressage bridle too, and so down the road I'm going to shop for that. I'm thinking I'm either going to buy him an Anki or a Bobby's bridle, dressage bridle, and I'm also going to eventually buy him the loose ring version. So Violet's dressage bridle has this, the loose ring bit, and that's what I'm going to want for Rennie too. So that's where we're at in bits. You can tell I don't know a whole lot about them because I wasn't able to tell you like why you would choose one or the other. I'm planning on getting books about that and doing a little bit more reading. But I did hear something really interesting on the Horse Radio Network this week. And they were talking about which bits to use, and especially for green horses. And so this woman was saying that she likes to start out with just basically a kind of a snaffle with a loose ring, and if they don't like that, then she kind of starts changing one thing at a time. So I'm going to remember that as I kind of experiment with bits over the course of time, and I want to see if one bit works better than another for my horses, to just change one simple thing at a time. But I can tell you that Violet really loves her new ergonomically designed D-ring snaffle, and Rennie seems to do super well on the slow twist Dr. Bristol. That's all. Thank you for joining us on episode 2. On episode 3, I'm going to sound like a happy, proud grandma. I'm going to talk to you about the day Rennie was born, about Rennie's little 1, 2, 3 in the first 45 minutes of life. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.